What is up, guys? Episode 2 of Takes with David Matlock, the Summer Chronicles. And today we're going to be evaluating the 2018 NBA Draft. Now, there were a lot of shocking things that went down this draft. It was good TV. Definitely good TV. There was betrayal. There was excitement. It was everything. Everything you could ask for, it was there in this NBA draft. Alright, so let's get to it. So, obviously, the biggest move of the night was for Luka Doncic for Trae Young. Alright, so I'm in my car. I'm not yet at my house watching the draft. I get home like during pick 4, so I already see the Hawks pick Luka Doncic. So I see we get Luka Doncic. I'm like, yes. Hell, we get the phenom. Being a Hawks fan, you do not understand what it's been like not having a star player in so long. We had Paul Millsap and we had Horford, but there wasn't like that star flair, and we were about to get Wonder Boy in ATL, just about to go down. And then I look on Twitter and it says we are trading Luka Doncic, and I'm like, oh no. Please don't be for Jaren Jackson Jr. And thank God it wasn't for Jaren Jackson Jr. No disrespect to Jaren Jackson Jr., but I did not want you for the Atlanta Hawks. You're going to be great for the Memphis Grizzlies. I see we get Trae Young. Now, a lot of people were angry on Twitter, me especially. If you see on my timeline, I freaked out a little bit. But you know what? I actually really like this trade. Now, people are going to say that the risk and the downside of Trae Young's game, he can't defend. Trae Young is not going to be a great defender, and we all know that. But you know who else isn't a great defender? Steph Curry. He isn't a great defender. You want to know who's the best goddamn shooter in the NBA? It's Steph Curry. Yeah, alright. So, whenever I watch Trae Young's game, people are like, he's not going to be Steph Curry. You can't say he's going to be Steph. So, I'm not going to hold him to the standard of trying to be Steph Curry, but the fact that he could be Steph Curry, I see flashes of him in his game. If he is just a knock below Steph Curry, I'm going to be happy. If he's like a Damian Lillard level player, I'm going to be happy. Shit, if he's a CJ McCollum, Bradley Beal level player, I'm going to be happy. Because I'm at least going to see somebody average over 20 points a game in Atlanta for the first time in my fucking life. Alright, so I see Luka Doncic just moved to the Mavericks, okay? So for the Mavericks, this is a very good pick. And the reason why is because you have a certain person on your team, the Mavericks, named Dirk Nowitzki, and he's kind of a legend over in Europe and those guys. And any foreign player is going to really look up to Dirk Nowitzki. And Luka Doncic himself said that he really respects Dirk Nowitzki, and he's looked at as a legend. Now, I think the fit for Luka Doncic in Atlanta isn't going to be as good as Trae Young being in Atlanta, because I don't think Luka Doncic would have had the exposure to a guy he would have respected. He's going to have a guy he respects more in Dirk Nowitzki. He's going to help Dennis Smith Jr.'s game a lot. If you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you are very, very happy with this trade, because he's going to have a mentor in Dirk for maybe another year or two, and you're going to have a very solid young backcourt core. Alright, and on the flip side of that, if you're the Atlanta Hawks, we look at this and we're like, alright, yeah, so this is Pau Gasol all over again. We're going to miss out on our third pick that we got. That's obviously a surefire good player, which he's going to be a good player. And with Pau Gasol, we miss out on that because we traded him for, I don't even fucking remember who we traded him for. I don't even remember his name. Alright, but here's the difference in that. Alright, so we get Trae Young. Trae Young, I think, has star potential. He's gonna sell seats. Now, even if he only averages like 14, 15 points rookie year, and he's probably gonna end up starting because Dennis Schroeder needs to leave because we don't need him, and he's not a starting caliber point guard in my opinion. But even if he isn't, Travis Slink, he gets Dallas's first round pick for next year. All right, so think about this. Even if Trae Young is a bust, and we end up in the lottery again, we also have a Dallas pick, because they're probably still not even going to make the playoffs, because the team that first didn't make the playoffs was the Nuggets. They didn't get any worse. They only got better because they got Michael Porter Jr., all right? And so then we see the Clippers. They got a little bit better with their, well, no, they didn't really get that much better, but they're still going to be in contention for the playoffs. Dallas, they themselves are probably going to be, it's going to be a top 20 pick. All right, so then we're going to end up getting a lotto pick and a top 20 pick, which is going to set us up again to get more stars. So I think this was a smart move by Travis Slink. All right, and since I'm a Hawks fan, we have to look at this also because he got Kevin Huerter, who draws comparisons to Klay Thompson. To say he's going to be Klay Thompson, I think maybe a little too far, but he can handle better than Klay Thompson. He's a much more creative scorer than Klay Thompson is because he can work in the lane a little bit better. Klay Thompson doesn't really do that well off the dribble, but he is the best spot-up shooter in the game. But I think Huerter has his range. I don't know if he has his consistency yet. I haven't watched him. I don't think he has his consistency, but I think the potential is there for us to have the Splash Brothers in Atlanta. All right, moving on. Also, I want to shout out Amari Spellman because I think that guy's going to be a stud. My Hawks picked him up, pick number 30. Yeah, I'm bandwagoning. I got the Atlanta Falcons hat on right now. I'm representing the ATO. All right, so next pick, we're gonna look at Sexton to the Cavs. And is this important? Why is this important? Well, we all know why it would potentially be important is because there's a guy named LeBron James who doesn't know where he's playing next season. So this pick was a big deal. So what are they going to do with this? Where are they going to go? And they kind of surprised me, honestly. I thought they were going to go for Michael Porter Jr. or even like a Kevin Knox, a guy who can also be like a big wing scorer for LeBron. And they go for Colin Sexton. This pick is very interesting. He's actually going to be wearing Kyrie's number. He's definitely not a Kyrie Irving. To say that he is, I think is definitely rushing things. He did play more games and average more points than Kyrie in college basketball, but I mean, we're not going to say that he's Kyrie Irving. But Colin Sexton is a very aggressive point guard. 6'1", not a very tall guy, not a guy who's going to be raining threes. His shot needs work. But Colin Sexton is called the young bull for a reason. That guy is going to throw his shoulder into you, and he's going to get in the paint, and he's gonna be a playmaker. Not the best passer, but again, if LeBron stays, I think LeBron can polish him a little bit, and they can work on his playmaking skills. But does this affect LeBron's decision? No, it doesn't affect LeBron's decision because it's not. First of all, it was an 8th pick, so if they were going to do anything, they're going to use it to trade or get more assets or anything like that. So I don't think this is necessarily going to be a direct effect on LeBron, but LeBron is seeing that, hey, we have a talent here. Maybe, I don't know if this is going to attract free agents, but Colin Sexton is a player that definitely intrigued teams. Maybe they trade for him, but I don't think this has too much of an impact on LeBron's free agency destination for the summer. But again, Sexton, very, very talented player. Another thing I want to bring up, the Clippers making the call to draft 2 point guards. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, very interesting. 6'6" point guard. He's going to be able to defend he's going to probably be able to defend 1 through 4 later on in his career if he can get stronger and get a little bit bigger. But definitely high upside for this guy. 6'6" at a point guard. He's got a 7'2", 7-foot something wingspan. Just long arms. He's a lanky guy. But then they trade. All right, so they trade Mikal Bridges to Charlotte. I'm like, okay, so they're getting Shai Gilgeous. That's a good pick. Who do they pick next? I'm thinking, all right, they're probably going to get like a Robert Williams, maybe even a wing scorer, and I don't know, maybe like maybe a Lonnie Walker to help with that backcourt. Looking for Jerome Robinson from Boston College. Okay, the guy's a good scorer. I'm not going to knock this guy. But why are you going for 2 point guards? You already have Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley, so this might be Patrick Beverley's probably going to be on the move this summer if they're making this pick. But again, still, why are you going to load your backcourt up with 4, 5? There's just too many point guards there. So I don't understand that pick. All right. And another one I want to mention is talked about the Mikal Bridges and the Zaire Smith trade. All right. So I think the Suns had, surprisingly, a very solid draft. They get Deandre Ayton, and then they trade Zaire Smith, who would have been a good pick for them because he's a good defender, and God knows that the Phoenix Suns need defense. And they turn Zaire Smith into Mikal Bridges and a first-round pick in 2021. Hey, hell, I'll take that. That's 3 years down the road. And we get Mikal Bridges, who is actually ranked by ESPN in defensive and offensive efficiency, number 5 overall, because he's a very talented, long defender who can shoot the ball. And so now Phoenix they've got some perimeter shooting that's going to have to actually be looked at. They're going to have Devin Booker, they're going to have Mikal Bridges, and then they're going to have Josh Jackson, who's going to be sniping on the side. And then Josh Jackson, who can shoot, is going to be able to pump fake and drive, maybe kick out Devin Booker. And now this looks like a legitimate team I'm seeing here. Definitely not going to make the playoffs. I mean, I'm not saying anything of that nature. But then they have Elia Kobo trying to address the point guard situation. It's still not solved, but it's definitely going to be a point guard there. But they're going to be better, much better defensively with Ayton. Hopefully better defensively with him. But then Mikal Bridges and Justin Jackson are going to be able to be solid perimeter defenders for the Phoenix Suns. All right, and then next I want to talk about some guys that slid in the draft, okay? So we have Mikal Porter Jr., who was previously predicted to be a top 3, top 2, the best player in this draft class. Gets hurt, obviously, and we don't see him enough in action. And apparently his medical records were scaring teams off. That was the main thing that was scaring teams off. But he lands at 14 to the Denver Nuggets. This is the perfect situation for Mikal Porter Jr. One of the main reasons why I think rookies struggle when they come in is because, especially for lower end teams, is that they're rushing their development, they're thrown onto the floor, and a lot of pressure is heaped on their shoulders. All right, so Mikal Porter Jr., he's going to the Nuggets, not necessarily a perennial playoff team. They missed it by 1 game this year, but they're a playoff contender, so they don't really need him. And then he's hurt, but he can take the whole year off if they don't need him. So that helps his development even more. And then you've got a guy who needs to work on his handles, and Mikal Porter. He needs to work on his handles, he needs to work on his size. And so in the meantime, he can get much better in that. So there's no rush, and so he can develop at his own pace rather than being forced to develop immediately like a lot of lottery picks would be. So Mikal Porter Jr., who has the offensive potential to be the best player in this draft easily with his size and his shooting ability, and now he gets the time to recuperate from his injury, and now he has no pressure on him because he's not even close to the best player on that team, expected to be the best player on the team because they have Jamal Murray and they've got Nikola Jokic, obviously, so they don't really need, and then Paul Millsap, so they don't even need him on the floor. He would probably be coming off the bench even if he was healthy. Okay, and then we get Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker, he's going to be the steal of the draft. I'm calling it right now. The steal of the draft is going to be Lonnie Walker at 18 for the Spurs. You want to know why? Lonnie Walker has this sort of, I don't know if I want to say it factor, but he has this appeal of being one of these players like a Donovan Mitchell because he defends well, isn't an incredible defender, but he defends well. He can shoot. Working with NBA trainers will definitely help his shot. He had a minor injury, but it was nothing major. I think that was one of the reasons why he slid so much to 18. But still, so we have Lonnie Walker, who has Dennis Smith Jr. athleticism with a little bit more shooting ability, I would say. Wasn't as consistent in the season, but once he was put in charge of that team, he was producing crazy numbers. He was shooting only like 40-something% from the field, but was shooting like 36% behind the three-point line, and he was carrying the team. I was at a Carolina-Miami game watching Lonnie Walker carry that team, and I'm pretty sure he hit a game winner in that game after Joel Berry hit an insane three-pointer. So they are getting, and then along with him going to the Spurs, they are the pinnacle of player development. And you've got Greg Popovich. It's Greg Popovich, and then they've had a couple of small names like Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, who were drafted by them. They didn't trade for any of these guys, that they developed themselves. So Lonnie is getting into a great situation. He already has the physical tools, the mindset. He's a great athlete, a great player. All he needs is someone else to put it together, and he's went to the Spurs. I think he's going to be the steal of the draft. Probably after Michael Porter Jr. And then after that, we get, of course, the Celtics are doing well, and they end up somehow with Robert Williams. I thought the Clippers were going to take him as sort of a successor to DeAndre Jordan, but this shows me they might be holding on to DeAndre Jordan since they're not going for Robert Williams. And then the Celtics, of course, because Danny Ainge is just finessing everyone as usual, they get Robert Williams at 27. 27! Alright, so think about this. If you're the Celtics, and this guy who was projected to be he's a lottery level skilled player. His athleticism is off the charts. Not a great shooter like DeAndre Jordan, not a great free throw shooter like DeAndre Jordan, but incredible finisher like DeAndre Jordan, an incredible physical specimen and size like DeAndre Jordan. That definitely fits something that the Celtics could use. It could be a good backup to Al Horford to relieve him of some time. Not necessarily a good floor spacer, but it'll give them an athletic look. We heard rumors of Anthony Davis being potentially looked at by the Celtics, maybe being in a deal. That's not going to happen anymore, but they get a physical, athletic guy inside who can fill the defensive role of Anthony Davis for this team, who's already a solid defensive team. So they're just getting better off of a very high value pick in the latter end of the first round that this guy shouldn't have even been there. He honestly should have been picked up by the Clippers, but no, we're going to go for 2 point guards because logic. But yeah, alright, so yeah, those are the Celtics picks that I've gone through. And one last thing I want to address is Kostas Antetokounmpo got selected with the 60th pick in the draft. Greek Freak 2.0. He's probably going to get stashed in the in EuroLeague somewhere by the 76ers because they don't really need him. I want him on my Atlanta Hawks because if we can have a Giannis 2.0, let's look at ticket sales there, boys. Giannis 2.0. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got a very, very high ceiling because he has good genes. Right now, he's extremely raw. Only averaged 5 points a game. Only averaged a couple minutes. But I saw reports where the coach that recruited him wasn't the coach that actually coached him during the season. It was a different coach, and they had a bit of a confrontational relationship. So that really hurt his draft stock. I feel like if he's getting 30 minutes a game, this guy is averaging 15 points with like 3 or 4 blocks and 8 rebounds a game, and his stock is in the lottery. He's a lottery level, athletically, build wise, he's a lottery level size player with not so lottery sized credentials. So that's a disappointment. And then also the People's Champion LiAngelo Ball was not selected in the NBA draft. I mean, he's just. I mean, looking at it, he's just not. We're hearing that it was the LeVar effect why people didn't pick him. He's not even getting a spot on the Lakers Summer League team. I hope he gets a G League contract somewhere. I think LiAngelo is my favorite of the Ball brothers. Lonzo's a great player. Melo's a little fucking asshole, but he's a good player too. Just lazy. But I mean, you never wish someone doesn't make the NBA. I mean, you can have your qualms with LeVar. He's just doing what he thinks is best for his kids. But it's obviously not working out for LiAngelo. Alright, thank you for tuning in for this second episode of the Summer Escapades with David Matlock and Tar Takes in the Great Dirty South. I'm dying over the summer. Alright, yeah, check out the Relevnt app, Relevnt, RELEVNT, on Twitter. Those are my employers, and that's the people I'm working for next semester, so give them a look so I can keep my job. Yeah, and definitely hit a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or would you rate it? Alright, thank you. Catch you later.